every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides on political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to Core TV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major stories, Chief of Defense Staff Alex Bade says the security leadership in the country has located where members of Boko Haram are holding the abducted schoolgirls kidnapped last month. Also in this program, APC accuses police of complicity as political violence spreads in Ekiti State ahead of next month's governorship election. Again, Supreme Court dismisses bid by the Democratic People's Party's candidate in the 2011 governorship election in Delta State, Great Ogburu, to unseat Governor Emmanuel Oduagan. And outside Nigeria, Russia says it is open to dialogue with the new president of Ukraine as election results suggest Petro Poroshenko would win.
And in business top story, federal government seals 2 agreements to fast-track inflows of foreign direct investment into Nigeria.
And on sport news tonight, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic progressed to the second round of French Open.
Thanks for joining us again. Now, details of the news headlines and other stories. The Chief of Defense Staff, Alex Bade, says the security leadership in the country has located where members of Boko Haram are holding the abducted girls of Government Girls Secondary School Chibok, who were kidnapped last month. Bade disclosed that the military would not use force to release the girls because of the need to prevent the insurgents from killing them. The #1 military personality in the country spoke while receiving a solidarity rally organized by the Citizens Initiative for Security Awareness, led by its national coordinator, Chidi Omeze. Outside the defense headquarters, Bade says the military had the capacity to bring back the abducted girls, but would not use force for the crucial assignment. He stressed that the military knew what it was doing and should be allowed to continue with its work. The CDS ordered that the military would not go and get the girls killed in the quest of bringing them back. However, the CDS was silent on the meaning of his declaration that the military would not use force to release the abducted girls when probed by journalists. Meanwhile, Vice President Namadi Sambo assured Nigerians that the federal government was committed to rescuing the abducted girls. Sambo noted that Nigerians must also complement government's efforts if the current war against terrorism and insurgency in the country is to be won. The Vice President spoke at the opening of a 2-day national conference on culture, peace and national security, the role of traditional rulers in Nigeria's democracy, organized by the National Institute for Cultural Orientation in Kaduna. Sambo, who was represented by Kaduna State Deputy Governor Nuhu Bajoga, ordered that Nigerians must collectively join hands with the government to confront the current problems of insecurity in the country. The global condemnation that ensued after the abduction of the Chibok schoolgirls has continued. Members of the Lagos chapter of Ansarudeen Islamic Society were at the Lagos House to register their displeasure. Abiola Oluwole was there. He fathered this report presented from our studios.
The protests that followed the abduction of schoolgirls from Chibok have continued. Many groups have condemned the abduction. Members of the Asaruddin Islamic Society Lagos chapter were at the governor's office. They condemned the abduction of the girls. They called on the government to step up efforts in rescuing the girls.
In this circumstance, our government will leave those children upon and go all levels to make quick efforts that will enhance the safe return of the abducted girls to their parents.
Assuring them that government is working to make sure the girls are rescued from their abductors, Fashola admonished Nigerians to desist from making inflammatory statements that would escalate the current situation in the country.
I want to appeal to all those to become more reflective, more restrained, more thoughtful in the things that we say, that we do, and urge. If anything that I am likely to say or do will escalate the problem, then I should not say it and I should not do it.
The concerted effort by international community has raised hopes of many Nigerians. These protests are also targeted at ensuring that the government continue to do more to ensure the safe release of the girls.
Media Concern Initiative has advocated for a comprehensive plan aimed at rehabilitating the girls abducted by Boko Haram ahead of their release. The group says rehabilitating the girls will take the joint efforts of the government, their families and philanthropists. Tomi Ojo has details in this report presented from our studios.
Experts say the abduction will have an extremely devastating effect on the victims. They argue that such experience at a young age could make the situation more painful. A child development expert, Helen Oshikoya, says that a comprehensive medical check could be run on all the affected girls after their release.
Some of them might have had their prime cut short. It's going to take a lot for them to get over it. Some will get over it, some will not get over it. The road will be rocky. But what we need to do is that we need to put things in place to make sure that this never happens again. And in doing that, I want to appeal to the federal government that going forward, we would like to have a psychological response unit to be incorporated into the operational framework of the Nigerian Emergency Management Agency.
The likely traumatized situation of the victims came to focus when some speakers say priority should be given to the rehabilitation of the girls.
Thinking that if these girls are brought back, it goes without saying that they will have gone through a lot of trauma. You know, they have been raped, they have been used in a way they would not like to have been used. And then bringing them back is a big question for all of us. How do we want to take care of them if they are back? And for me, I think the first step for us to take, you know, both government and the civil society, we need at this time to work together. Perhaps the most important aspect of the work will even be when they are returned. We hope and pray that they are returned safely. You know. But if they come back, we need to rehabilitate them.
The hope exhibited by Nigerians for the release of the girls necessitated this kind of furor. The abduction of the Chibok schoolgirls has attracted global condemnation.
May 27th of every year is slated as Children's Day. The day is usually celebrated with a public holiday for children. However, the abduction of the schoolgirls from Chibok has dampened the spirit of some children. Tomi Ojo has details in this report.
This year's Children's Day celebration seems to be different from the previous years. Many of the children who spoke say they are not happy about the state of things in Nigeria at the moment.
I feel so terrible because our security awareness in this country is very poor. It's very poor.
What I feel about Nigeria is that Nigeria is so bad, and then today, tomorrow, there will be Boko Haram burning everywhere.
What is happening in Nigeria nowadays is making we children to be sad because the kidnapping of children, the killing of people, and then the eliminating of children in this Nigeria is making we children in this Nigeria to be sad. So I'm not feeling better with the way that everything is happening in Nigeria.
I don't feel happy with all the things going on in Nigeria because the government are not doing anything. If you look at the situation, what is going on now with the Chibok girls, the government are supposed to find a solution or do something about it, but they are not doing anything.
The children, however, hold different views as to whether or not the celebration should take place.
Supposed not to celebrate it because of the children that they kidnap.
Even though those Chibok girls, they'll not be able to celebrate with their parents at home. Due to even that their parents they'll not be happy because their children are not with them. They'll not be able to celebrate Children's Day together.
It's our right to be happy, it's our right to feel good, it's our right to feel around people, it's our right to make new friends on that day, to feel around people, to know that truly meant for children and it's a special day for us.
The hearts of many of these Nigerian children seem to be grieving from the abducted schoolgirls and many attacks carried out on the schools in the northern Nigeria.
Igbo community in Jos says it lost 36 members and 42 others to injury in the May 20 bomb blast that rocked Jos Terminus Market. In addition, the community said many others were still unaccounted for, while Igbo traders lost goods worth unspecified amount of money. Eze Igbo, Jeremy Obilom, who addressed journalists in Jos on Monday, says the community vehemently abhorred the mass burial secretly conducted by the state government without informing them. He argued that Ndi Igbo were not in the habit of burying their dead outside their homestead. He added that some hospital authorities were very hostile when the community led by the chairman of the association, Jonah Ezekweme, visited them to identify victims of the blast who were of Igbo extraction. Obilom stressed the need to compensate victims of the bomb blast, adding that in the past incident, Ndigbo were neglected and made to bear the cost of burying and rehabilitating their members alone. The Boko Haram insurgency has terrorized Nigerians, has attracted international intervention. The group claimed responsibility for many of the attacks that killed hundreds of people across northern Nigeria. And this report, correspondent Martin Dixon takes a look at the group's transformation from insurgency to terrorism.
The Boko Haram sect has been in existence in Nigeria since 2001. It became popular in 2009 after a sectarian violence. The group was initially led by late Muhammad Yusuf until he was killed by the military in 2009. After his death, Abubakar Shekau took over the group's leadership. The group went underground only to resurface with more deadly attacks and guerrilla war strategies, attacking security agencies, government installations, religious institutions, and public places. Nigerians expressed desperation in their expectation of action that will end the loss of innocent lives.
Government should come out and tell us the truth. They know when all these things started. When it started in a smaller way, they know how to stop it, but they did not do anything about it because it is not affecting them directly. It is only the masses that is affected.
I think the security should provide more security in all the whole state, especially the northern areas. Because what is happening today is a kind of putting fears in everybody's mind. The common man is not safe, and even the rich man is not even safe. If the security would deploy more troops around the whole city, around the whole state.
Nigeria is worried. Nobody is safe. Everybody is afraid of what is going on. So we really need government and international community to help us from the problem we are facing in this country. Because people are dying, so many people. Thousands of people are dying every day because of bomb blasts.
The rage by Boko Haram continued, leading to the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls in Chibok, Borno State. Boko Haram leader threatened to sell the girls. The government was accused of waiting for too long before taking action. They took to the streets demanding that the government rescue the innocent girls. From Abuja to Lagos, the protests gradually spread to Europe and then across the globe. The international community responded, stating an urgent need to stop the spread of terror by Boko Haram.
This unconscionable act was committed by a terrorist group determined to keep these girls from getting an education. Grown men attempting to snuff out the aspirations of young girls. I want you to know that Barack has directed our government to do everything possible to support the Nigerian government's efforts to find these girls and bring them home.
We can help with that. That is why we're offering to embed military advisors with the Nigerian headquarters. We work with Nigeria in many other ways on counterterrorism. It is very important that they uphold high standards of human rights and that they are well coordinated in their own operations.
Nigerians welcomed the international assistance and hope that the world will help rescue the girls quickly.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will work with the British government through its High Commission in Nigeria to work practical details of the promised support and collaboration against terrorism.
Parents and relatives of the missing girls continue to cry in desperation, praying for the success of the rescue mission. Martins Dixon, Core TV News, Lagos.
You're watching Core TV Prime Time News. We'll take a break now. We'll be back shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go. The global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014. Venue, Le Méridien Hotel, Point Oxpiment, Mauritius. Date, 27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. Africa, it's time to find your goals. Supported by
this One Wash Challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
You're still watching Core TV Prime Time News. For more information on our news and other programs, please visit us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Core TV News. You can also follow us on Twitter, and our handle is at Core TV News NG. Also on YouTube, it's www.youtube.com/Core TV News. The trade blame that emanated from the Labour Party rally held in Ikere-Ekiti rages on. The All Progressives Congress has accused the police of conniving with other political parties to attack their members. Rashid has details.
The leadership of the All Progressives Congress has alleged that the Labour Party is masterminding violence capable of discrediting the forthcoming governorship election. However, the Labour Party dismissed the allegation as baseless.
If this were allowed to continue,
the coming election might witness a violence of serious dimension that may go a long way in aborting the aim and objective of the 2014 gubernatorial election in Ekiti.
There have been a series of attacks, unprovoked attacks from APC on our own party. I don't know why they are that bitter. So still up to now, I still find it so difficult to know where the bitterness is coming from. Well, I keep wondering, maybe because most of us left APC for Labour Party.
But the All Progressives Congress say the attack on the Commissioner for Arts and Culture, Ronke Okunsanya, in F1 is a reliable fact. The APC leadership accused the police of complicity and connivance with the opposition to unleash terror on its members.
It amazes us that even the police, security outfits, the civil defense, they are now involved. Because some of the shootings were done by the police and civil defense.
Now, and a ruling party for that matter now says police is aiding and abetting an opposition. The police is directly accusing the police. Then I can say it is most unfortunate and most irresponsible for that type of statement to have been made against the police.
The Director General of Fayemi Campaign Organization, Bimbo Daramola, says opposition parties are planning to use improvised explosives to bomb some targeted facilities of the APC.
Some of us here on this other side have also been slated for attack. They have even taken this sinister plan to the level of wanting to attack, to detonate bombs on Ekiti State.
We start our own investigation to find out the veracity of his claim. If it is true, we'll find out. If it's not true, we'll still find out. But one thing I want to reiterate at this point is that those who live in glass house don't throw stone.
Reactions from politicians and police seem to take the tone of a war of words due to the allegations.
As a political party, like I've said, we are not cowards. At appropriate time, we will take decisions and we will curb them because we know the language too. But to be forewarned is to be forearmed.
To enforce the law the way it is, and we've drawn the line, and whoever crosses it in action and in words, whoever crosses it will be brought to justice. That is what I can assure you.
A vehicle of the Ekiti State Peace Corps and campaign billboard of the incumbent governor were vandalized in broad daylight. These cases have raised questions on the need for a peaceful and credible election in Ekiti. Rashid, Core TV News, Ado Ekiti.
The Supreme Court has again dismissed a suit filed by the Democratic People's Party's candidate in the 2011 governorship election in Delta State, Great Ogboru. The Apex Court has earlier on June 17, 2013, dismissed the appeal he filed against a judgment of the Court of Appeal, which affirmed the election of Emmanuel Uduaghan of the People's Democratic Party as the governor of Delta State. Dismissing the fresh application in its ruling, the court described it as an abuse of court process. The 7-man panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice Walter Onogeng, awarded 8 million naira cost against Ogboru's lawyer Dixon Oswala for filing such a frivolous application. The 4 defendants in the suit are Uduaghan, the PDP, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and the Attorney General of the Federation. In a related development, Uduaghan has praised the Supreme Court's decision, which dismissed an appeal filed against his election by the Democratic People Party candidate Ogboru. Speaking on behalf of the governor in Asaba, the secretary to the Delta State government, Ovozore Macaulay, says the case of the governor was like God's case, over which there can be no appeal. Macaulay added that the case and other challenges posed to Uduaghan by his political opponent belonged to God, who he said would deal with them accordingly. The Supreme Court ruling, according to him, was a vindication that no man can fight God. Reactions continue to trail the suit filed in an Abuja High Court by Petroleum Minister Leziani Alison Madueke and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, seeking to stop the probe of 10 billion naira allegedly expended on a charter jet for the minister's private use. Politicians, lawyers and economists were unanimous in their condemnation of the suit that described as fraudulent. Jumoke Olatunji has details.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and the Petroleum Minister, Daisani Alison Madueke, jailed the heir of the National Assembly when its accounting books revealed that the corporation spent 10 billion naira in 2 years on a chartered Challenger 805 aircraft for the private trips of the minister. This decision apparently did not go down well with the minister, who have now approached the courts with a prayer that all investigations and probe into the 10 billion naira expenditure be stopped. Reacting to the lawsuit, a member of the House of Representatives, Akim Muniru, explains that the invitation for the petroleum minister to appear before the House was designed to give her a fair hearing in the case and ensure the grey areas in the matter are unlocked.
And the onus is on who has been elected to come and defend herself to members of the committee to come and clear the air that truly I've not used 10 billion naira. Oh, indeed, I've used 10 billion naira but appropriated for. Or indeed, in the line of my job, nobody is casting aspersions or judgment on anybody. Just an investigative hearing that come and explain to us these claims.
Speaking in the same vein, a legal practitioner, GT Ogunye, says that although approaching the court to stop the RAP's probe on the 10 billion naira is exercising a right, it does not remove the fact that it is a case of corruption.
If you ask me whether that money that is spent on hiring a jet is justifiable, I will tell you no. That's my opinion, that there is too much flamboyance, ostentatious lifestyle by government officials, corruption in the midst of grinding, excruciating and asphyxiating poverty.
This economist believes that there should be a proper accounting standards in the country.
In other words, your position on the 10 billion naira air charter fees by NNPC can only be given a proper perspective to show whether it is a right decision or a wrong decision when that action is compared with what happens in other oil-producing companies.
Corruption by government officials have been identified by various financial agencies across the world as the bane of the Nigerian society. Many of our anti-corruption agencies have been shown to be weak in prosecuting the war on graft. This case is a litmus test for the Nigerian judiciary. The whole world waits to see if it will actually stop Nigerian lawmakers from probing into an outrageous expenditure by a serving minister. Olajumoke Olatunji, Core TV News, Lagos.
National President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Okewale, says the inability of existing laws in the country to fit into modern demands is a major hindrance to economic development. He was speaking at the association's 8th Annual Business Law Conference in Lagos. Abiola Oluwole has details.
The conference is organized by the Nigerian Bar Association to brainstorm on how legal practitioners can prefer solutions to those challenges affecting the nation. President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Okewale, says corruption, lack of infrastructure, and the weak legal structure are the bane of the nation's underdevelopment.
Its management of the economy and scarce resources, poor standard of education, and huge infrastructural deficits. To make matters worse, all these are underpinned by weak legal and strong framework. To checkmate the global danger stated by the hopeless picture that I have painted above, will require exemplary governance.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwa, represented by Moyo Onigbanjo, says the life of an average Nigerian contradicts the recent rebasing of the nation as Africa's largest economy.
Economic development is at the stage of systemic spasm on the meal, as simply refused to arrive at the dining table, while bad news is served as the appetizer.
A former Deputy Secretary General of United Nations, Mark Malloch Brown, says the success record by the Nigerian telecommunication industry lends credence to the ability of Nigeria to attain development, if there is proper alignment of good planning and governance.
The challenge for all of you as lawyers involved in the business side of law is to make sure that that investment appetite can be met by an environment of the rule of law, of commercial redress, when disputes occur.
Pointing out the role of professionalism in the quest towards achieving the needed change in the country, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says the nation's pursuit for good governance is possible through the ballot box.
As we prepare towards 2015, I hear talk like, well, will my vote count? Will they not read it? What candidate will the other party give us? That's what I hear. I don't know what you hear. And this is not a political platform. But I wish to say that nobody will count a vote. For those who ask, will my vote count? Nobody will count a vote that you refuse to cast. Think about it.
Speakers at the event agreed that there is a need to put efforts together in ensuring that Nigeria gets the kind of leadership that will bring about rapid development.
The Lagos State Multi-Door Court.
A federal high court in Abuja has ordered that the judiciary should henceforth take control of its budgeting without the influence of the executive arm of government. Justice Ahmed Mohammed, in a judgment delivered on Monday, declared as unconstitutional the practice of sending the judiciary's annual budget estimates to the budget office of the executive arm of government or any executive authority. The court made this known while delivering judgment in a suit dated February 1st, 2013, which was filed by a former president of Nigerian Bar Association, Oliza Agbakoba. The Attorney General of the Federation and the National Assembly were the first to third defendants. Only the NJC did not oppose the suit. The court, in its judgment, agreed with the plaintiff, who contended that the manner by which judiciary's budget was being appropriated was contrary to the principle of separation of power and the provisions of the Constitution. It declared that any amount standing to the credit of the judiciary in the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation should immediately be paid directly in whole to the NJC for disbursement and never again through the budget office of the executive arm of government. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has called on engineers to raise the quality of their service to the people as a way of addressing the infrastructural deficit in the country. Fashola made the statement when he hosted members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers at the State House. He urged the engineers to always patronize safety at construction sites.
As a nation, we should begin to log millions of hours of injury-free construction time. There are so many avoidable accidents at our construction sites. Again, our Safety Commission has been at the forefront of this. They've been going out to construction sites, but you need to also help me welcome them. That they are welcome to your sites to come and check. And that if there is any non-compliance with safety, we can close down that site. That must come from you to help us regulate ourselves.
Okay. You're watching Core TV Prime Time News. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you business and sports news. Stay with us.
The global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014. Venue, Le Meridian Hotel, Point Oxpiment, Mauritius. Date, 27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. world. Africa, it's time to find your voice. Supported by...
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
Nigerians continue to the city of Lagos once again as all routes
to you on be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV,
24-hour news station.
Good evening, you're welcome to Business News with me, Sabena Izuku. The federal government has sealed 2 agreements that would help facilitate investment cooperation as well as fast-track the inflow of foreign direct investment into the country. While one of the agreements was between Nigeria and China, which is aimed at encouraging and supporting Chinese enterprise to invest in Nigeria, the second agreement with Canada to help Nigeria and Canadian investors secure access to both countries without encumbrance. Speaking during the signing of the first agreement with representatives from the Chinese government in Abuja, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga, says it was critical to seal the agreement since China is the #1 exporter into Nigeria. On the agreement with Canada, the minister describes the pact as a historic moment for the country, as it will help to explore further partnership opportunities and lead to greater prosperity for both countries. The power sector privatization program will move to the next stage by September, when all electricity distribution companies are expected to remit 100% of the collections from customers. At the moment, the DISCO operate baseline remittance, where their remittance are determined by revenue generation and power received. Based on this criteria, a DISCO has a minimum amount to pay with a baseline of 25% increment, a step to preparing the utility firms for the full remittance. Before the increase, some DISCOs, such as Yola DISCO, were considered commercially unviable due to issues it had with supply and zero baseline remittance. The baseline remittance was increased to enable the market operators pay for the power purchase from Genco and gas bought from suppliers and others that contribute in the supply value chain. The Infrastructure Bank says it has recovered 95% of the 10.5 billion naira it's granted under the first phase of the Public Mass Transit Revolving Fund, PMTF. The managing director of the PMTF, Adekunle Oyinloye, disclosed that at the official handover ceremony of the 65 mass transit buses worth 800 million naira to beneficiaries in Lagos. It says the recovery of the loans had grown the mass transit revolving loans base to 15 billion naira, while the bank is already working on ways to recover the remaining 5% through effective risk management system. The federal government says it's working on strategies to deepen the private equity and venture capital sector across the country. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga, made this known at a briefing meeting with journalists in Abuja. Aganga said as part of efforts to empower small and Medium enterprises access to funding, the government is partnering with the United States government to boost the export of about 6,000 African products to the United States market duty-free. He added 70 million small and medium enterprises located across Nigeria. The country stands a better chance of creating more jobs for Nigerians if the sector is well developed. On the stock report, the equity market closed today on a bearish note as the Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index closed at 39,831.83 points, depreciated by 0.19% to close at 39,755.47 basis points. Market capitalization decreased by 0.19% to close at 13.13 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 360.03 million shares worth 6.52 billion naira in 4,816 deals. Market breadth closed positive with 29 gainers, lead by 26 losers. Julius Berger led the gainers table, followed by UACN, Flour Mill PLC, Cadbury PLC, Presco, while Nestle PLC, Babco, Mobile PLC, Owando PLC and Calverton made the losers list. And here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on Business News. I am Sabena Izoku. It's time for some sport news with Emmanuel Ajayi. Stay with us.
Welcome to the World of Sport. I am Emmanuel Ajayi. The Super Eagles of Nigeria arrived London ahead of the Wednesday's friendly match against the Titan Army at Fulham Craven Cottage. The player that left from Nigeria with Keshi Aogenyi Onazi, Victor Nsofo, Ahmed Musa, Michael Uchebo, Godfrey Onabuna, Gabriel Ruben, Juwon Oshenua, Ife Ambrose, and Sunday Mba. Others are Chigozie Agwim, Azubike Egwegwe, Daniel Akpeyi, Kunle Odunlami, Ejikwe Ozinai. The team had their first training session with all 30 players invited for the World Cup preparation. Keshi is expected to name his 23-man squad by June the 22nd. The AYC, Nigerian Flying Eagles, battled Lesotho in the third and final round of African Youth Championship qualifier in August after Southern African eliminated Angola. Lesotho completed the double over Angola when they beat the home 1-0 through the next round of a 4-1 aggregate. The Flying Eagles will host the Shock Trooper on August 16th, while return leg will be a fortnight later. The overall winners will advance to 2015 Youth Championship to be hosted by Senegal. Shark Football Club of Port Harcourt stretched their unbeaten record to 9 games as the Blue Angels battled to end a point in 1-1 draw at Warri Wolves. Bola Salami shot the home side ahead from the penalty spot before substitute Tayod Fabi drew the visitors level. Enugu Rangers played out 3 draws against visitor Gombe United. Giwa FC trashed Kaduna United 4-1. Enyimba scored 3 over Nambe City, who had 1 goal, while Kano Pillar grind out a victory over El Kanami Warriors. In other matches, Muyiwa Lawal scored only goal for Sunshine as they smile home the all 3 points. Akwa United were in a 1-0 better than Lobby Star. Heartland fell to Taraba United by 1-0. Dolphin 2-0 win over Bayelsa United, while Abia victory at Clyde's crowned by FC 3-0. Now to the world of tennis. The defending champion Rafael Nadal begins the defense of his French Open title on a positive note with a 6-love, 6-3, 6-love win over Robert Guineri. Novak Djokovic power-passed Portuguese João Sousa with 6-1, 6-2, 6-4 victory in the first round of French Open. The match has been first interrupted by rain when Djokovic, looking to win the only Grand Slam title missing from his collection, was 4-1 up in the first set. It did not derail Djokovic, who barely blinked when he considered a late break and hit 37 winners to set up a meeting with a local favorite, Jeremy Kandi. Kenyan men and women set the new world record by 1,500 meters at the IAF World Relay in Bahamas. The men time of the 14:22.22 second battered at 14 seconds in 2009, Kenyan record, while women beaten by the previous mark over a half a minute. Johan Blake led Jamaica to victory by the 4.100-meter relay, with Great Britain taking the bronze medal. Jewish women picked up silver in 4x200 in the new national record, but the women by 400 teams could not put up a good outing. And that's it on Sport News tonight. I am Emmanuel Ajayi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabina and Imano, for that business and sports news. We continue with the rest of our stories. In the meantime, do not forget that for more information on our news and other programs, you can visit us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CoreTVNews. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTVNewsNG. Also on YouTube at www.youtube.com/CoreTV_news. International observers say that Ukraine's presidential election largely upheld democratic commitment and provided the new leader with the legitimacy needed to tackle the country's separatist insurgency. The vote provides the new president of Ukraine with the legitimacy to establish immediately an exclusive dialogue with all citizens in the eastern region to restore their trust and confidence, and to decentralize state power in order to preserve the unity of the country by respecting the diversity of Ukraine's society. Volodymyr Petro Poroshenko says Ukraine will press on with an offensive to crush pro-Russian separatists in the east after partial results showed he had trumped his rivals in the first round of elections. Russia had refused to recognize the legitimacy of Ukraine's interim pro-Western leaders, and President Vladimir Putin only promised to respect the outcome of the presidential vote. The observers' mission acknowledged the high turnout put at more than 60% by the Central Election Commission in regions under the government's control, despite repeated attempts by militants to intimidate voters and organizers. And that's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again tomorrow. I am Gift Ogete. Good night.